Listen, something in your spirit already knows why you're here. You didn't stumble into this message by coincidence, convenience, or curiosity. You were drawn here, pulled here, positioned here. Because there is a shift happening in your life that even your mind can't fully explain yet. But your spirit feels it deeply. Something is moving faster around you. Something is rearranging quicker than before. Doors that once took years are beginning to open in moments. Delays that once felt endless are being cut short. Spiritual momentum is building. Divine timing is accelerating. And heaven is whispering the truth to you now. You are being accelerated. There are moments in destiny where God does not move according to normal time. There are seasons where He does not follow human rhythm, earthly schedule, or predictable progression. There are chosen moments where heaven presses fast forward, compresses, time redeems lost years, and rushes you into alignment with purpose at a supernatural speed. And right now, your life is entering one of those moments. You have carried dreams that seemed far away. You have waded through seasons that felt like endless preparation. You have endured processing, pruning, stretching, refining, and deep inner work. And now something is shifting. Something is accelerating. Something is catching up to what God declared over your life long ago. This message is not for everyone. It is for the ones who feel the inner stirring, for the ones who sense movement in the unseen, for the ones who feel like the wind around their life is suddenly stronger, faster, more intentional. If you've been feeling transitions speeding up, connections forming quickly, clarity coming, suddenly opportunities appearing unexpectedly, it is not random. It is God. Stay with me, because in the minutes ahead, you're going to understand what is happening, why the pace of your life is changing, and what heaven is pushing you toward. You are going to recognize the signs of acceleration, the meaning behind it, and the responsibility that comes with being chosen to move at divine speed. And when this message ends, you will not question whether this is your season. You will know. Because everything that is about to unfold in your life is not powered by luck, coincidence, or human effort. It's being authored. It's being orchestrated. It's being pushed forward by a hand greater than yours. This acceleration is not coming from pressure, desperation, or impatience. It is coming from heaven. It is coming from the one who has watched every silent prayer, every hidden tear, every unseen sacrifice, every season where you stayed faithful, even when nothing seemed to move. What is happening to you now is divine. There comes a time when God steps into the timeline of a person's life and says, now. Not later, not soon, not eventually, but now. And when heaven says now, delays break. When heaven says now, what once took years suddenly begins to unfold in days. When heaven says now, what seemed impossible starts making sense, aligning and falling into place. This is not a random shift. This is a divine appointment. You have been in seasons where God allowed slowness, waiting, and process. He allowed stretching so you could outgrow what once kept you small. He allowed silence so your spirit could learn to trust even without noise. He allowed pruning so what did not belong could fall away. But acceleration comes after preparation, and preparation has already marked your life. This message is heaven's way of saying, the time I prepared you for is approaching faster than you expected. There is divine intelligence behind this acceleration. You are not being rushed recklessly. You are being positioned precisely. The steps you are about to take are guided. The doors opening before you are measured. The opportunities forming around you are not coincidences. The connections appearing suddenly are part of a larger design you cannot fully see yet. But God has already mapped it out from beginning to completion. And you are not walking into this accelerated season alone. You are entering it under divine covering, guided by divine wisdom, empowered by divine strength. The same God who kept you in the waiting will sustain you in the speeding. The same God who strengthened you in delay will stabilize you in velocity. Because acceleration without God becomes chaos. But acceleration with God becomes fulfillment, purpose, destiny realized. So take a breath and let that truth sink deep into your spirit. You are being accelerated, not because you forced it, not because you begged for it, not because you manipulated circumstances to make it happen, but because heaven has declared it, because destiny has reached its appointed moment, because the plan written over your life is stepping into its active stage, because God has chosen this time, this season, this chapter to unfold faster than you imagined. And as you continue listening, you will understand exactly what is coming, why it is happening now, and how to move with divine pace without fear, confusion, or overwhelm. Stay with me, because the revelation is only beginning to unfold. What is unfolding ahead of you is not just progress. It is not simply improvement. It is not merely better days arriving. What is coming is divine acceleration wrapped in purpose. It is a season where what was once distant begins to move toward you, where what you once chased begins to chase you, where the things you thought would require endless striving begin to meet you halfway, because destiny will no longer allow delay to hold your life hostage. In the unseen, something has shifted. It is as if heaven has reached into the fabric of your timeline and pulled forward chapters that were meant for later. It is as if the hand of God has turned a page faster than expected. Doors are preparing to open that were once sealed. Conversations are being arranged in rooms your name has never physically entered. Favor is quietly gathering around situations that once rejected you. Pathways you never imagined are forming not because you forced them, but because your life has reached divine readiness. This acceleration is not reckless speed. It is holy alignment. There will be moments that feel surreal. You may look around and ask, how did this happen so quickly? You may feel as if life suddenly caught fire in the best way possible. Ideas will gain traction. Purpose will gain clarity. Relationships that drain you will fade, while relationships that grow you will appear. Opportunities will not just knock. Some will break through like light through a clouded sky. It will not always come loudly. Sometimes acceleration arrives gently like the quiet turning of a tide. Little shifts, subtle confirmations, unexpected momentum in places you once struggled. A peace that replaces hesitation, a strength returning to places that once felt exhausted. But make no mistake, whether it bursts like thunder or rises like dawn, acceleration is coming. God is bringing you forward faster because what is inside you can no longer remain parked in waiting seasons. Your voice is needed. Your presence is needed. Your assignment is needed. Your life carries purpose that must step into position now. And this acceleration is not just about you. It is about what will happen through you. There are lives connected to your obedience. There are destinies waiting on your courage. There are environments waiting for your influence. There are people who will find healing clarity, inspiration, and strength, because you stepped into what God is now speeding you toward. It may feel like everything is happening at once, but it is happening on time. Yes, there will be moments where it feels like the pace is stretching you. Your calendar may shift. Your routines may change. Your comfort zones will be interrupted. But this is what acceleration requires: movement, trust, surrender, and willingness to walk at the pace of heaven, rather than the pace of fear or familiarity. And hear this clearly: acceleration does not mean skipping preparation. It means God has decided you are prepared enough. It means what He placed in you has matured in the quiet and now it must bloom in visibility. It means your hidden faithfulness has reached its appointed season of expression. You are not being thrown into something you cannot handle. You are being ushered into something you were built for. There will be moments that still require patience. There will still be steps, still be process, still be wisdom. But the waiting without movement season is ending. The stagnant chapter is closing. The place where everything felt paused is releasing its grip. Faster alignment, faster clarity, faster development of purpose, faster unfolding of promised things. This is the prophecy your life is entering, divine acceleration not by your effort, but by God's decree. Not because you rushed, but because heaven decided time no longer has the right to delay what God ordained. It is a holy turning point, a shift in atmosphere, a supernatural advancement of destiny. And as this unfolds, you won't simply move quicker. You will move with grace, with guidance, with covering, with strength. You will not lose yourself in the speed. You will discover yourself more fully in it. Let this settle deeply. The season ahead of you is charged with momentum. Heaven has placed propulsion behind your purpose. The things that once resisted you will begin to yield. The ground that once felt locked will begin to open. And though you may not see every detail yet, the prophecy stands. Acceleration has begun. And now that it is unveiled, it is time to understand the depth behind it, the meaning beneath it, and the sacred reason why God chose this moment in your life to move at divine speed. Acceleration always carries meaning. God never increases the pace of a person's life without purpose pulsing beneath it. When heaven begins to speed things up, it is not random movement. It is refined intention. It means something in the spirit realm has aligned. It means timing, preparation, maturity, and divine orchestration have finally met each other in the same moment. It means you are standing at the intersection where promise and readiness collide. Spiritually, acceleration is a sign of fulfillment. There are seasons in your life that resemble winter. Seasons where nothing seems to move, where progress feels buried under silence, where dreams seem frozen beneath the surface. Those seasons are not abandonment. They are cultivation. They are the hidden roots growing beneath the ground, strengthening, anchoring, deepening, so the tree can later withstand the weight of fruit. But when winter ends, the earth does not apologize for spring. Nature does not hesitate when it is time to bloom. Creation responds instantly to divine timing. Acceleration is your spring. It is the season where what was planted must rise, where what was buried must surface, where what was whispered in prayer must find voice in reality. It is when God breathes fresh wind into dormant places, and they awaken like fields after rainfall. Not slowly, not casually, but with life bursting forward, unapologetic, undeniable, unstoppable. Acceleration is also a sign of alignment. Imagine a door that has always been there, but the hinges had not yet been placed. Imagine a pathway that always existed, but the stones had not yet been laid. Imagine a destiny woven long ago, but the season had not yet arrived for you to walk fully in it. When acceleration begins, it means alignment has occurred. It means heaven, timing, purpose, and assignment have clicked into agreement. And when heaven agrees with your season, nothing on earth can delay what must unfold. In Scripture and in life, God often moves slowly, until suddenly He doesn't. There are moments He allows years of silence, decades of development, long stretches of process. And then a divine suddenly rewrites the pace. One conversation shifts destiny. One moment changes direction. One opportunity redirects a lifetime. One divine yes reshapes everything that once seemed immovable. Acceleration is God saying, What took time to form will now move quickly to fulfill. Acceleration is also deeply intertwined with identity. You are not being accelerated because you are desperate for change. You are being accelerated because you have grown into who God always knew you would become. The version of you standing here now is not the same version that once begged for timing to shift. You have endured storms that forged strength into your spirit. You have survived seasons that carved wisdom into your perspective. You have walked through valleys that taught you faith deeper than explanation. And now heaven trusts you with speed because heaven has watched you with patience. Acceleration requires maturity, and maturity is now present in you. This divine speed also carries spiritual symbolism. Think of wind. Wind is unseen yet undeniable. It can be gentle or fierce. It does not ask permission before it moves. When acceleration comes, it feels like wind pushing at your back. You are walking, but something greater is propelling you forward. Think of a river after a storm. The water does not trickle, it rushes with power, direction, and irresistible force. Acceleration is that current drawing you forward into purpose faster than before. Think of a sunrise. Night does not fade slowly forever. There is a moment where darkness collapses and light floods everything instantly. That is acceleration, when illumination replaces hesitation and clarity, floods what was once dim. Acceleration also speaks of redemption. There are years you thought were wasted, seasons you felt were lost, prayers you believed were unheard, but acceleration is God redeeming time. It is Him compressing what seemed delayed into a sudden unfolding. It is Him restoring lost opportunities in ways that exceed what slipped away. It is Him honoring the faithfulness you carried when progress was invisible. Divine acceleration says what you thought was gone was actually being prepared to return, multiplied. But perhaps the deepest meaning of acceleration is this: God trusts you with impact now. Your life is not meant to merely exist. It is meant to influence, to heal, to awaken, to inspire, to strengthen, to shift environments simply by being present in them. Acceleration means your life is entering usefulness at a greater level. Heaven sees you ready to carry what once would have crushed you. Heaven sees you capable of walking into purpose without losing identity. Heaven sees you strong enough to handle blessing with humility and responsibility with grace. So understand this at the core of your being. Acceleration is not simply about moving faster. It is about stepping deeper into destiny. It is about inhabiting the fullness of who you were always meant to be. It is about entering a chapter where delay no longer defines you and purpose no longer waits at the horizon. It rises under your feet. And now that you understand the meaning, it is only right that you begin to recognize the evidence. Because acceleration rarely arrives silently. There are signs. Subtle, powerful, undeniable signs that God is already moving things faster around you. And if you pay attention, you'll realize many of them have already begun. One of the clearest signs that acceleration has begun is the shift you feel inside before anything visible happens outside. Your spirit wakes up before your circumstances do. Lately, you may have felt a strange awareness rising in you, an inner knowing, a quiet alertness, almost like your soul is standing up after sitting for a long time. That is not restlessness. That is recognition. Your spirit senses movement before your mind can explain it. Another sign is the sudden dissolving of things that no longer belong. Acceleration rarely comes with clutter. When God speeds you forward, He begins to separate you from what cannot travel with you. Doors you once kept knocking on lose their appeal. People you once depended on fall silent. Environments that once felt comfortable now feel too small, too limiting, too draining. You may not even be angry about it. You simply feel released. This is God clearing space. Acceleration requires room to move. A third sign is unexpected clarity. Where confusion once lived, understanding begins to form. Thoughts that once felt tangled begin to straighten. Questions that haunted you for years suddenly begin to find answers. Vision sharpens. Focus strengthens. You may begin to see yourself differently, think differently, dream differently. This clarity does not come from pressure. It flows gently like fog lifting from a valley. Your mind and spirit begin agreeing with each other again. Another sign is divine alignment, showing up in small but undeniable ways. Conversations happen at the right moment. You meet people who speak into exactly what you've been praying about. Opportunities appear that match your purpose, not just your survival. Support begins to show up where resistance once stood. Emails arrive unexpectedly. Invitations arise that you didn't chase. Doors crack open in areas where you once felt locked out. These are not coincidences, they are confirmations. There is also the sign of inner strength returning. Acceleration brings empowerment. Where you once felt tired, you start to feel energized. Where you once felt discouraged, hope begins to rise again. Where you once questioned everything, you start believing again. Some days you may still feel emotional or uncertain, but underneath it, there is a deeper resolve forming. Something inside you whispers, "I'm not done." Something is coming. I must stay ready. That is the strength of acceleration awakening within you. And lastly, there is the undeniable sign of holy discomfort. Acceleration rarely feels like a rocking chair. It feels like a launch pad. You sense you cannot remain where you are. Not because you hate your life, but because your spirit knows there is more. You feel yourself stretching beyond your current season. You feel destiny tugging at you. You feel forward calling to you. It is uncomfortable, yes, but it is sacred. Because that discomfort is divine nudging. If you find yourself experiencing even one of these, you are not imagining it. You are not overthinking. You are not simply emotional. These are signs. Gentle announcements from heaven. Subtle yet powerful confirmations that God is already shifting the pace of your life. And if acceleration carries signs, it also carries battles. Because when God begins to advance, someone resistance often shows up to test their readiness. Not to stop you, but to strengthen you for the speed ahead. Acceleration is beautiful, but it is not always gentle. When God increases the pace of your life, pressure often rises with it. One of the first hidden challenges you may face is spiritual resistance. The moment your life begins moving forward, the things that once fed on your stagnation will not celebrate. Doubt may whisper louder. Old fears may try to visit. Insecurity may try to remind you of past failures. Not because you are weak, but because the enemy recognizes momentum when it sees it. Another challenge is emotional stretching. Acceleration will expose parts of you that still need healing. You may feel waves of vulnerability, raw honesty, sudden emotions surfacing from places you thought you buried. Not to break you, but to free you. Acceleration requires emotional freedom, and God often brings unresolved wounds to the surface so they can be released, not carried into the promise. This may feel overwhelming at times, but its purpose is purification, not punishment. There is also the challenge of responsibility. Acceleration does not simply bring blessings, it brings weight. More purpose often means more decisions. More doors require wisdom. More visibility requires discipline. You may find God calling you to higher standards, sharper boundaries, deeper obedience. Things you once tolerated will no longer be acceptable. Places you once compromised, you no longer can. This is not restriction, it is refinement. God is shaping you to carry acceleration without collapsing under it. Another hidden challenge is isolation. Acceleration can quietly separate you from certain environments, friendships, and familiar routines. Not everyone will understand the speed of your growth. Not everyone will celebrate your elevation. Some will pull away. Some will misunderstand. Some may even resist you simply because they are comfortable with the version of you that did not move. This can hurt. But separation is not abandonment. It is divine preservation. God removes what would slow you down. You may also battle moments of uncertainty. Acceleration does not come with a complete roadmap. You may not see every step. You may not have every answer. You may feel like you are walking forward while trusting God more deeply than ever before. That can be unsettling. But acceleration is not about control. It is about surrender. It is about trusting that God sees the whole picture even when you can only see the next step. And finally, there is the challenge of endurance. Acceleration may feel fast spiritually, but it may still require persistence physically. There will still be days where progress seems quiet, moments where movement doesn't feel as dramatic as you expected, seasons where God speeds purpose internally before manifesting everything externally. These moments require patience, faith, and resilience, not quitting because things didn't explode overnight. So if you find yourself facing resistance, vulnerability, responsibility, separation, uncertainty, or the need for endurance, do not assume something is wrong. These are not curses. These are not punishments. These are not signs that acceleration has failed. These are the tests of readiness. They are shaping your strength. They are training your character. They are preparing your spirit for sustained forward movement. They are ensuring that when acceleration brings you into greater places, you will stand, not stumble. And because God never reveals challenge without providing clarity, what comes next are divine instructions, not fear-driven rules, not heavy burdens, but sacred guidance, steps that align you with the pace of heaven and help you move confidently into everything that is unfolding. So hear this clearly, acceleration is not something you simply experience. It is something you must partner with. When God starts moving your life forward at divine speed, your response matters. Your posture matters. Your discipline matters. Your willingness to align matters. This is not the time to drift. This is the time to become spiritually focused, emotionally grounded, and intentionally surrendered to God's leading. The first instruction is to stay anchored in presence. Acceleration can create movement around you, but you must remain grounded within you. Do not rush ahead of God just because the pace increases. Do not mistake acceleration for recklessness. Spend time in prayer. Spend time in quiet. Spend time listening, not just speaking. You are not being thrown into chaos. You are being guided into destiny. Anchoring yourself in God's presence keeps your spirit steady while your life shifts forward. The second instruction is obedience. Acceleration does not respond to convenience. It responds to obedience. When God nudges, respond. When God pulls away from something, do not cling to it. When God opens a door, step through, even if you still feel a little afraid. This is not the time to negotiate with God about comfort. This is the time to say, "Yes, Lord. If you lead, I will follow." Your obedience is the steering wheel in this season. It directs how smoothly acceleration unfolds. The third instruction is discipline. Acceleration amplifies whatever it touches. If you carry consistency, acceleration multiplies it. If you carry distraction, acceleration magnifies that too. So tighten your focus. Be mindful of your habits. Guard your time. Protect your energy. This is the season to choose growth over comfort, clarity over confusion, faith over fear. Heaven is not speeding you forward just to watch you waste momentum. Discipline keeps acceleration sacred. The next instruction is release what no longer aligns. Do not drag dead weight into a living season. If God is removing something, let it go. If He is closing a chapter, honor it and move forward. If He is calling you out of environments that stunt your growth, do not argue for your limitation. Release with trust. Release with peace. Release with maturity. Acceleration cannot operate freely in atmospheres that hold you hostage to your past. Another instruction is courage. Acceleration requires movement while faith is still forming. You may not have every answer. You may not feel perfectly ready. But God has decided you are ready enough. Courage is not the absence of fear. It is choosing to move even while fear attempts to whisper. Courage is choosing to believe that if God is accelerating you, God is also equipping you. Take the risk heaven is presenting. Say yes to growth. Say yes to stretching. There is also instruction to guard your mind. The enemy cannot stop acceleration, but he will try to disturb your focus. He may attack through overthinking, doubt, comparison, or mental exhaustion. Be intentional about what you consume. Be selective about what you listen to. Surround yourself with voices that speak life, faith, truth, and alignment. Silence voices that drain your confidence or mock your calling. Protect your mental space because your mind is the runway where destiny lifts. Another instruction is to remain humble. Acceleration may elevate you. People may notice you more. Opportunities may increase. Recognition may come. But remember, this is God's doing. Stay grounded. Stay grateful. Stay teachable. Pride kills what acceleration builds, but humility sustains it. Let every blessing remind you of God's faithfulness, not your superiority. Humility keeps heaven close. And finally, the most important instruction is trust. Trust when you see movement. Trust when you do not. Trust when doors swing open. Trust when God gently redirects you. Trust the timing. Trust the pace. Trust the God who orchestrated this moment long before you ever prayed for it. You are not being rushed irresponsibly. You are being carried intentionally. Every step has purpose. Every instruction has meaning. Every moment in this season is wrapped in divine intention. So as you move forward, do so with faith, obedience, discipline, courage, humility, and unwavering trust. Because what is ahead is not fragile. It is not uncertain. It is not random. It is divine. And now that instructions have been given, heaven wants to reassure your heart. Because acceleration does not come without protection. You are not being sent forward alone. You are being surrounded, shielded, guarded, and carried even at higher speed. You are not walking into accelerated purpose uncovered. Divine speed never comes without divine shelter. As life begins moving faster, heaven does not step back. Heaven leans closer. God does not accelerate you and then leave you vulnerable. He surrounds. He shields. He goes before you. He stands beside you. He remains behind you. You are entering a season of forward movement, but you are also entering a season of deeper protection than you have ever known. Every step ahead of you has already been walked through spiritually before you ever step into it physically. This acceleration is not reckless. It is guarded. Angels accompany assignments. Protection accompanies purpose. Covering accompanies calling. You are not stepping onto unstable ground. You are stepping into prepared territory. Even when things feel unfamiliar to you, they are already familiar to God. He has seen the path. He has cleared the unseen danger. He has blocked what was meant to interrupt. He has silenced what could have harmed. And because of that, peace belongs to you. There will be moments where your mind tries to race faster than your spirit. Moments where your thoughts begin to imagine every possible what if. But hear this truth deeply. If God brought you to acceleration, God will sustain you through acceleration. His strength does not decrease at higher speed. His protection does not weaken under pressure. His covering does not thin as elevation increases. The same hand that carried you through waiting will shield you in movement. He will protect your heart from people who cannot handle your growth, from environments that no longer nurture your destiny, from voices that would try to weaken your confidence, from distractions sent to slow you down. He will protect your spirit from discouragement, from spiritual attack, from unseen battles, from silent heaviness. He will protect your path. He will close wrong doors even if you feel tempted by them. He will remove wrong opportunities even if they look appealing. He will block what is not meant for you even if you don't yet understand why. This is not rejection. It is protection disguised as redirection. And even in moments where acceleration feels like a storm, remember, storms do not frighten the one who commands the wind. If the pace feels overwhelming, God becomes your calm. If the journey feels intense, God becomes your rest. If the future feels bigger than you, God becomes your anchor. You are safe even in movement because you are covered even in transition. So breathe. Not because everything is predictable, not because every detail is explained, but because you are protected by a God who does not fail his own. Let this assurance settle deep. You will not break under this blessing. You will not collapse under this calling. You will not be destroyed by what is meant to elevate you. Heaven is not accelerating you toward danger. Heaven is accelerating you toward fulfillment. And while you move forward, you are wrapped in divine safety every step of the way. And with that protection comes the promise of transformation. Because acceleration is not only about movement, it is about becoming. What waits ahead is not just advancement, it is awakening. What awaits you on the other side of this acceleration is not just change, it is transformation. It is not simply about having more, it is about becoming more. Acceleration is not pushing you into a busier life, it is ushering you into a truer life. One where your spirit is no longer dimmed, one where your purpose is no longer muted, one where your calling no longer sits quietly in the background, but stands boldly in front of you, alive and undeniable. You will notice it first within yourself. Confidence begins to replace hesitation, not arrogance, but holy assurance. That quiet inner trembling that once second-guessed everything now becomes steadier, stronger, more certain. You begin to speak differently, walk differently, think differently. You begin to carry yourself as someone who finally recognizes their worth, their assignment, their divine placement in this world. You do not shrink anymore. You do not apologize for being called. You do not dim just to make others comfortable. Because acceleration is birthing identity, then you will notice it in your life. Doors that once refused you now open with honor. Places that once rejected you now call for your presence. Situations that once drained you are replaced with environments that nurture, strengthen, and empower you. The very areas where you once struggled will become places of testimony. What once felt heavy will feel holy. What once felt impossible will feel inevitable. You will see fruits of alignment. Plans begin to unfold with grace instead of strain. Purposes begin to manifest with clarity instead of confusion. What once took endless effort now moves with ease because you are no longer wrestling God for timing. You are moving with Him. You are not chasing destiny anymore. Destiny is unfolding beneath your feet. Relationships will transform too. Acceleration attracts alignment and exposes imbalance. You will find yourself surrounded by more supportive voices, wiser influences, deeper connections. People who see your calling without trying to control it. People who celebrate your growth instead of resenting it. People assigned to walk with you, not weigh you down. And the loneliness you once felt during separation slowly gives way to a sense of belonging that feels heaven-sent. But the greatest transformation of all is what happens between you and God. Acceleration does not just move you into purpose, it pulls you closer to Him. You begin to trust Him more deeply, not just because you believe in Him, but because you have seen Him work. You have witnessed His timing. You have lived His faithfulness. You have experienced His protection. And now your relationship with Him is no longer built on hope alone. It is built on history, on moments where He proved over and over that He does not fail you. You begin to walk with Him, not as someone begging for survival, but as someone growing in partnership with divine purpose. Prayer feels different. Worship feels deeper. Faith feels stronger. Peace becomes more natural. Fear loses its authority. Doubt loses its voice. And then, fulfillment begins to bloom, not overnight, not in a single moment, but steadily, beautifully, divinely. The promises that once felt so far begin to stand in front of you. The dreams you once whispered in secret begin to echo in reality. The version of you that once felt unreachable slowly becomes the version of you standing here present, alive, radiant with purpose. And there will come a moment, whether in a conversation, a breakthrough, a quiet morning, or a sudden realization where it hits you. I made it here. God really did this. And tears may come. Gratitude will overflow. And peace, a peace you haven't felt in years, will rest upon you. Not because everything is perfect, but because you finally stepped into what you were always meant to walk in. Not because life is suddenly easy, but because life is finally aligned. Not because every question is answered, but because your soul finally feels at home in destiny. This is what acceleration is carrying you toward: not chaos, not pressure, not confusion, but fulfillment. Becoming. Completion of what God has been shaping in you all along. And as you stand in this unfolding promise, heaven speaks one final blessing, sealing this season over your life in strength and faith. So now let this moment settle in your spirit, not as an emotional experience, but as a divine awakening. Something has been spoken over your life. Something has been declared. Something has been affirmed in the unseen that will echo into the seen. You are stepping into acceleration. You are stepping into alignment. You are stepping into a chapter that will not look like what you left behind. And as you walk forward, speak life over your journey. Speak destiny into your atmosphere. Speak truth over your heart. Let these affirmations anchor deeply inside you, like pillars of strength standing firm against doubt, fear, or delay. Repeat them. Declare them. Own them. Let them become the soundtrack of your spirit in this season ahead. I am walking in divine acceleration. I am protected, guided, and strengthened by God. I am ready for what heaven is bringing into my life. I will not fear this season. I will embrace it with faith. Let these truths sit inside you like steady fire, not burning in panic, but glowing with confidence. Because acceleration is not chaos, it is calling. It is not rushing, it is rising. It is not forcing, it is fulfillment unfolding. And now, receive this blessing. May every step you take be guided by divine wisdom. May every door that opens be a door ordained by heaven. May every assignment you walk into carry grace, strength, and clarity. May your heart remain steady when things move quickly, and peaceful when God takes you deeper. May protection surround you, like unseen armor covering your mind, your spirit, your journey, your purpose. May you never forget that you did not come this far alone, and you will not move forward alone either. God goes before you. Heaven stands with you. Favor follows you. Purpose aligns with you. Destiny rises within you. May courage fill you. May faith strengthen you. May gratitude ground you. And may joy meet you in every breakthrough ahead. You are entering acceleration, But you are not entering it fragile. You are entering it prepared, strengthened, grown, chosen for this time, called for this pace, ready for what God is unfolding next. So walk forward with expectation. Walk forward with peace. Walk forward with confidence. Because what God is accelerating, He is also sustaining. And what He is beginning in you now, He will bring beautifully, powerfully, completely into fulfillment. This is your moment. This is your season. And it has only just begun.